decided to have Mr. James once again, because we always get him one time, just once for the semester. But thank God he's back today. And he always brings us fresh meat from the outside. But before we hear from Mr. James, I just have a few things I want to say to you. But we're going to ask our assistant coordinator to open us in prayer, please.
Good morning, Lord. Thank you so much for blessing us with this opportunity to worship. We thank you for the honor of being able to worship. So we ask that you will come to us, manifest your promise, that our habits, stewardship has transcended into your word. We have spoken that it is not just what we have. We expect them to happen because you have promised us. So as we continue to march forward, thank you so much for the guidance that you have given to us, and we look forward to the blessings that are to come.
Announcement I want to make before Mr. James take over is I want to make sure that everyone knows that we will not have a class next Sunday. Next Sunday is graduation. Some of the classes do have a teaching class, but we don't. We give you the Sunday off. So this is our last class, but we will meet everyone in the lobby at 11 a.m. for graduation, and that's where you will get your certificate. Darrell will manage the graduation. He will be calling your names, and someone else will hand out the certificates. You will not see me because I will be at Michigan Street doing graduation. So I will not be here next week for graduation. But make sure you're in the lobby at 11 a.m. for graduation next Sunday. Anything else, Darrell, that I'm forgetting?
I will take a look at the Church Center app because I'm going to put a post up that has the graduation roster on there. So by looking at everybody, I think I got everybody covered. But if I happen to overlook you and you feel like you should be on that list, reach out to me on the church app and we'll make sure that you're covered, okay? I want to make sure that we recognize you guys.
Let them know that they can come back to the next class.
Absolutely. So that was actually a great segue because Ms. Ramos had the same kind of feedback for us that she wouldn't be here next week, and then in addition to that, she asked if she could sit in on a couple of classes that she may happen to miss from this semester. So I said that's actually perfect. We have several students in the past that have one either taken the course again. Don't think that that's off the list. Drop in, ask questions, or if you want to engage with one of the teachers, always feel like we're free, okay? This is an ongoing process. This was, again, we're open about this. This was not an 11-week process and then we're done. We're all in the same boat together, so we are taking this journey together, so always feel free to approach us, okay?
When does the next semester?
That's a good question. October 12th is the next semester start. That's the fall semester. That'll run until Christmas time.
And we'll be happy to see all of you. During this semester, we followed biblical principles when we started. And remember, we took that one step to the right. We made an oath that we will follow principles and we will do what thus saith the Lord. We said that. And so we have come to the end of that season that Ecclesiastes talks about, that there's a time and a season for everything under the sun. And when you were born, when you came into this world on your earth day, was your season, and you were supposed to do some things. Well, what happens to the person who doesn't do anything in their season? I want to share this scripture with you. It comes from Ecclesiastes chapter 6 and verse 3, and I'm going to paraphrase. Ecclesiastes 6 verse 3. That scripture says, if a man has 100 children and lives many days, he comes to the end, he's sorrowful. He has no joy. The Bible goes on to say, better the miscarriage. Some version says the stillborn. See, because if the stillborn came into this world and didn't do anything, well, this didn't come into the world. The stillborn is born and is dead. Nothing happens. But when that person comes into this world and spends 60 or 70 or 80 years and is sorrowful, it's worse for him because the stillborn did not have the grief in life and the problems and the bills. So it's worse for the person who comes into this world and who has done nothing. Think of life as a hill of life. I always talk about a hill of life. And Durrell talks about innate skills and acquired skills when he teaches the class earlier on in the semester. So we come into this life and we have innate skills. We learn to walk, we learn to talk, innate skills. We have acquired skills. You're acquiring financial management, biblical principles. We have acquired skills. So you come into this life and you're acquiring those skills and you're climbing the hill of life. You climb that hill of life and you reach the peak. If you want to call the peak 40 years, 50 years, be my guest. But you will reach the peak of life. So you're climbing the hill. They teach you how to get your job, but they don't teach you how to manage your money, your paycheck when you get it. And you're wasting it as you're climbing the hill of life. You reach the peak, you cross over and you start your descent. And at my age, I'm all the way down on my descent. Some of you are further up coming down. And once you start your descent on the hill of life, if Jesus tarries, if he doesn't see it fit to call you home, if he doesn't break the clouds of glory, you will arrive at the foot of the hill. And at the foot of the hill is a place called retirement. Then what? You wasted all your life. You applied no Dave Ramsey principles. You did nothing, and now you're at retirement. Then what? And these days, no longer can we depend on pension plans. Mr. James taught about that. We can't depend on pension plans. Social Security is only a supplement to our income. So what happens when we arrive at the foot of life? And I'll tell you one more thing before I turn it over to Mr. James. When you arrive at the foot of life, many of us have no insurance because we didn't take time out to get it. And worse off, we don't even have documents in place, legal documents. So we have nothing and we become a burden to those around us. Make sure you follow biblical principles, do what you're supposed to do, and not let that happen to you because we're here, we gave you all the principles. Mr. James, take it away, please.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to be very black and white today because it's a topic that's really touching for some people, it's very emotional for others. But it's about wills and estate planning. This generation, COVID taught us what it looks like if something was to happen, because we didn't expect it and how to prepare for it. Some people saw the examples, some people didn't, some people saw the big picture. But I'm going to go through it and tell you exactly what happened over 2020, 2021. So, what percent of adults in America have a will, do you think, out of 10 people?
Maybe
half.
10%, probably 10%. But
Without a will, what is the normal amount of time to settle estate in probate court? And that's if they not backed up because of courts. That's just if everything works perfectly well. That means if everything goes the way it's supposed to, things are filed, they found your debt, they found your family, they found information that could link you together. That's if everything works perfect. It's 9 to 2 years. Over COVID, some people still have not received a check from the courts. This is going back to 2020. What is the average cost to probate and a will? 6 to 10% of the estate. What's an estate? Pretty much an estate is pretty much everything you have that you want to put into, think of a file. What do I have? What assets do I have? And how do I want to file them away? Where do I want to put things? Versus having a car, a home, multiple homes for some people, for some people that have brokerage account, where do I put these things? That's where your estate comes in terms of your insurance, your brokerage account, your checking account, your savings account, your CDs, everything goes into your estate. So if something happens to you, there's not a lot of things all over the place. It's an organized way to have assets in one location. That's an estate. So when you look at estate planning, these are things you do obviously before something happens to you. You don't do this when so this week alone, I did a will for a gentleman that's about to pass away. I want to give something to his girlfriend. It's literally about to pass away. So I had to actually do his trust for him, do his will, and notarize it for him. But for me, this should have been done maybe 2 or 3, 4, 5 years ago, when he was fully conscious and aware of his decision making. Because he was making a really, really rash decision based on a relationship and based on emotion. So when it comes to financial planning, which is what we talk about, accumulation of assets, management of assets, and protecting your assets, these are things you find some individual, and there's plenty around in banks. And they'll sit you down and they'll go through, what are your assets? How do you manage your assets? Everyone needs estate planning. You might think, you know what, I don't have much, I don't have nothing. What do I really have? How many of us have a checking account? That's enough. Honestly, that's enough. That's enough to think about and sit down with someone and just have a meaningful conversation. It's just insurance, but then do you have annuities? Do you have 401ks? It starts with just a checking account. Of a conversation that you don't really think about. $10 to my name. Who am I going to leave $10 to? I promise you have way more than $10 to. You have, for example, live in will, power of attorney, and your last will and testament. Does anyone know the difference? Let me give you your last live in will. What's a live in will?
Something that you put together just in case something happens.
But it's in the word. It's in the title.
Yeah.
Is that the one for like if you like sick or something? That's what's gonna happen while you're
Mm-hmm.
sick.
You're in the hospital. You can't speak for yourself. That's solely putting in place. That's a living will. Then you have power of attorney, which is very, very similar, but a little bit different because there's a control pattern there. But then you also have your last will and testament. Does anyone know what that is?
What your desire is, if you are not able to make this.
You're no longer here, but you're still willing enough to put things in place to say, if this happens, check, this is what's next. This is what comes after if something happens to me.
I have a question.
I have an answer.
When you say living will, does that automatically?
No. And the assumption of that goes a long way because a lot of people feel because that's my husband, that's my wife, that we're a spouse, I have the right. Legally, you do not.
Right.
Because like I was a nurse, a military nurse, and will designate someone
Else.
Yes.
What I used
Yes.
to use else.
Yeah. No, I get that, but I'm saying like as the spouse, can you like if there is no living will, does the spouse have a say?
No, not legally.
So if there's no living will, who has to stay? The doctor?
It could be the state, it could be the doctor.
Yes.
You
You have to.
But
That's what your doctor wants.
the purpose of a living will is not to chance it.
Yeah.
Is not to leave anything up to anyone else's decision. Especially if you feel that you have someone that could speak for you. If you have someone that can speak for you and you're still in the right state of mind, create a living will.
And your doctors always ask you, do you have a living will?
That's the first question they should ask you.
They
Number
ask
one
you that,
question.
yeah.
Because that takes the pressure off of them to make a decision. I think as your family, my mom, let's say for example, you have a mother, you have a father that's close to you, they also might feel, even though you're married, they have the rights.
Yeah. True.
So then where does that put your husband or your wife? And that's where, in most places, that's where the arguments breaks up families.
Yeah.
Because everyone feel, I have the rights.
Because you're married or whatever.
Well, that's my son, that's my daughter. So a living will take care of the legality of this decision making. And it breaks it down here, specifically the kind of medical treatment you want. Literally that simple.
Mr. James?
To articulate.
If you don't have a living will, where does next of kin?
If you do not have a living will, where does next of kin come in?
Let's talk about a topic.
Okay.
And I don't have a living will, can my husband say what he wants if I didn't have it in writing?
He cannot. He cannot.
So who's next in line if it's not your husband?
The courts.
It's up to you, yeah.
It's the courts.
That's what they
Honestly.
tell you. Forbid, yeah.
Because if you have kids, or you have, this is what I've seen all the time. Step kids. You're married and you have step kids. Who's the next of kin in that situation? Because the step kid is gonna feel, well, you're not blood. That's I should have. Dual power of attorney. Designate another person. Oh, what am I at here? Go back. I know it's good after that editing mode. Dual power of attorney. So dual power of attorney is pretty much like a living will, but you're giving someone as you're still living power to speak on your behalf, and they could do things with you and for you. So that's where I usually say, if you have a husband or wife, or if you have kids and you're at a certain age, give them the power, give them some power, some legality, because you could put in detail what power they're gonna have over your living situation. So it's gonna be finance, it's gonna be medical, it's gonna be business. You get to in detail put down the power they're gonna have over your estate. And that's where you identify in your power of attorney, what are they gonna have control of if something happens to me. So if you have a husband and he's not good in business, and you have a business, obviously he's not gonna be the right person. So that's where you put your business partner. Or you give it to somebody who you think is gonna run the business before your kids get that age. Same thing when it comes to medical. You might feel, hey, I have a daughter, I have a son, I want them to speak for me, but they're 13 years old. Would that be the right thing to do? No. So you find someone who you think that has the most common sense to make a vital decision. Make sense? That's very important.
What if you make a will and you say,
Some
Like
will
a
doesn't
pen?
cost no money. So a lot of times you could really go online and create a will based on DocuSearch, have someone notarize it, and you're good. So it doesn't really necessarily have to cost you anything to do a will or a trust. A trust is a little bit different. It depends on how much assets you have. You might want to have a lawyer take a better look at it. Same thing with a will. If you feel that you have a lot of assets and it's complicated, pay for it. It's worth paying for it. In certain cases, it's definitely worth paying. I'm sorry.
Having a will, that will have to go through probate.
It avoids having to go to probate if you have a will. It takes away probate from the situation.
Yeah, and another question is, I know when I was working at Layton and Rock, when I went to Queens, oh, they're grown
As a
now.
beneficiaries.
Right, but I was told that once I get married, that's in New York, my 401k, the beneficiary no longer goes.
Not in this state. I'll say that.
It's not in New
this
York
state.
either.
But in New York,
No,
did
it's
I
not
have-
in New York, cause I'm from New York too. Whoever's on the beneficiary,
That's it.
that's who's
That's
getting
it.
it.
I was
Yeah.
told that he would have to waive, and I had to go to a notary, have it waived. I don't know, but that was back in.
See, I can't speak for New York City, but I can speak for Florida itself right now.
Okay.
Legally, they can't do that. Because that's the whole purpose of having a beneficiary.
Yes.
It's a legal binding document.
Right. Cause I
So,
know,
Mr. James, what if I have a will and I have a home and my kids were raised up in the home, and in my will I decide to leave that home for you? I have a will. and
Me,
home
the
is
husband?
no, just a friend or whomever.
A friend, okay.
And you're an acquaintance, and I leave my home for you in my will.
Okay.
And the kids scream, "Well, this is our home. We were raised up in there." Well, isn't there?
Legally, there's nothing they can do.
Mm-hmm.
wow.
Legally, there's nothing they can do.
So where does probate come in?
If you decide you don't have a will, you don't have any beneficiaries, it has to automatically go to the courts. And then the courts decide
Okay.
who is next of kin rightfully.
Wow.
Because, I mean, let me say this also. If it goes to the courts and you have debt, debt comes first.
That means hospital debt, any kind of debt.
Every debt. Collections. Every debt. So sometimes you might feel that goes to some people have a mortgage that's not paid off. It goes to every debt first. What your question?
No, so basically, even if you haven't named beneficiaries on your accounts, you still gotta have a will.
No. If you have a beneficiary in your account, it depends on what account. So let me give
Let's say
you
401k.
a 401k. It goes to the beneficiaries.
Oh, so you don't have to have a
Yeah.
will.
If it's, let's say it's Fidelity. Fidelity it's a binding contract. It's a legal document saying that your beneficiaries in our system, it automatically with that document goes to what's his name? Isaiah. Isaiah is your son. It goes to Isaiah. His information is in our system. Automatically. Isaiah's not in the picture. Fidelity, as a FDIC legal institution, have to say where does it go next. We don't have a next of kin. It has to go to probate.
So if you're someone who has like, but yeah, that's what you want to ask.
If you have money in the bank first, then whatever's left over goes to your next of kin, and that's where the next of kin. Because who is your next of kin? And that's where families have to argue and say, I'm this. To him once a week in the hospital, it gets really, really muddy.
With the 401k, you can put two people name, but you could divide it, yeah.
Last will and testament, same thing. When you break it down, include tangible and intangible items, which is cars, real estate, investments, bank account, pretty much everything we talk about. You should contain name of executor, burial expectation, debt payment, tribal donations. If you want to pretty much donate, and power. Who is your power executor? Who is going to speak for you? That's in your last will and testament. So the difference between your will and your last will of testament, that means someone is going to be the executor to speak on your behalf. Because that person might not also be the person you're giving anything to.
Yeah.
He's just someone that's speaking in your behalf. It doesn't even have to be a family member. But me personally, I would prefer it not to be a family member. So that way there's no emotion involved. he's just speaking or she's just speaking on my behalf. These are my kids, you guys are all my kids. I'm speaking for Louis James, he passed away. Louis James says he want to give this to you, this to you, this to you. I don't really care where he goes to. I'm just speaking on his behalf. But if I had any invested interest, you know what? Why are you getting this? Now I'm speaking for you. Why are you getting the car? I loved him. He know I love the car. I should get the car. I'm gonna leave this one out for a second. Let me go over everything else. It happens when emotion is involved, and you're not there to speak for yourself, or there's nothing there to speak for you. That's why I said, let me just read this to you because it gets emotional.
Yes.
Can you designate like a lawyer or somebody to do
Some
that?
people does. Some people do. Most people who have a decent amount of money would prefer to have a lawyer make that decision for them, because that way there's no emotion involved. But if you have someone that you feel that's it's educated and will do the right thing, designate that person also. Doesn't have to be a lawyer. But if you have and you feel more comfortable, do as you honestly. Timing. If you don't have a will, you should create one as soon as possible.
Trust me, I know you want.
Let me ask you a question. Do 19-year-old passes away?
Oh boy, yes.
Do 19-year-old person passes away? Do a 5-year-old person pass away? Doesn't matter your age. Doesn't matter what you feel. You could be broke, you could be rich, you could be middle class.
Death doesn't discriminate.
Doesn't discriminate.
No.
It does not discriminate.
Yes.
And that's why it's important to do it right away. Because tomorrow is not promised to any one of us. COVID saw that. How many people think during COVID didn't have a beneficiary? Over 75% of them.
Yes.
Of people didn't have. Just on a checking account. So all those checking accounts, and this is just Fifth Third Bank, went straight to the courts. Because there was no one there to speak for them or give it to. We still got people coming in with death certificate. Hey, my mom, this person passed away. How do I get this money? Gotta go through probate. Gotta call the courts in that county.
Wow.
So. Trust. Not everyone will need a trust. Experimentation of a trust can help you maintain confidentiality, manage probate, protect your property, and assist with tax liability. A trust is an umbrella. It puts you, think of an umbrella when it opens, put everything underneath it. When you close it, no one can touch it. That's a trust, if I give you a visual. So a lot of people who have millions of dollars, they'll put most of their assets into a trust for tax liability, but also for lawsuits liability. So that way, when something does happen, people don't come from the woodworks, businesses, companies, medical, all these different companies. Hey, he owed me money too. Stop. It's in a trust. This trust is gonna go to the executor. The executor gonna say what happens to the trust.
Wow.
Do's and don'ts. Don't rely on internet for your estate planning information. So that goes to your will. Because some people will go on internet and they'll do docu and they'll print it out. And if it's simple, it does work. But if it's complicated, take it to a lawyer. Take it to someone who's professional. Do's: invest in an estate planning attorney, ensure legality, oversee necessary notice, and witnesses. If you're doing a will and you're going to get things notarized, do not do it by yourself. Take witnesses with you, at least 2. Why am I saying this? Anyone know why you need witnesses? Because someone could say, hey, he did that, or is witnesses. And if something goes to court, you have witnesses to stand up in court. And if you don't, it goes back to probate.
What about if those witnesses did sign, but they're not them?
that cause an issue, then you need to find witnesses that's reliable.
Well, suppose death or something happens.
Then that's different. That's different. Then change your will, change your, change whatever documents it is, update it. A will is a vehicle. Trust is a vehicle. It's gonna change. It should change every year because things change. Let's say you have a will and you love Jimmy. Jimmy's my favorite. He's my favorite son. But then Jimmy got locked up. You have to change your will. You have to. Life happens.
Yes.
So that's why I said a will and trust is a moving document. When things change in your life, change in the will. No question.
Oh, no, I saw on the other screen it says to update it every
3 to 5 years is, but things happen. For me personally, things happen every year, especially when it comes to emotion. I love Jimmy last year. I don't love Jimmy this year.
So how often do you need to change it?
He said every 3 to 5 years. Honestly, I look at mine at least once a year. I try to look at it and see how things. Because if you get promoted, if you get a new job, assets comes and goes out of your life. It's a moving document. But if your life stays the same and you don't have to do nothing, and you trust your kids and your family and the executor and everything else, then don't worry about it.
It
But-
causes problems in the family.
But you should want to change or at least address things when things arrive.
Should you let your kids know in case something happened to you?
Yeah, it's important.
Let them know that their name is on this or that. Of course, it's
Your name is not in the will.
It all depends on how they're gonna take the information. Let me say this: it all depends on, because we all know our kids. At least we should.
So it's best to know.
We all should know how this person's gonna take this information. Just like, for example, whoever you claim to be executor, you should know that person. If he's not a lawyer, if he's not a lawyer, then that's obviously different. But that person should be aware of what big problems or a big situation or a big decision you put his name on or her name on. Same thing like your kids. They should know if they're at age to accept this information, because everyone don't mature the same. That's the best way to say it. Everyone don't mature the same to take every information the same. So if you don't think that person is mature enough to handle this information, then don't give that information. Because it causes problem.
Then if you tell them your name is on this account or whatever, and then next year something happens, you take your name off. Yeah.
Once again, that's a one-on-one situation.
It's up to you.
They sell these packages, and I want to say I got it from Staples, where you could put all your information, and it's like a accordion package, so you could put your last will and testament, and people have expired, insurance policy, they're looking for this, they're looking for that, whereas you should have it one place and have that conversation. It's an uncomfortable conversation to have, but let them know, like, listen, in the event this is that, or this package is here, and if anything happened to me, just go there, because people are tearing down houses, because especially when they get a little more mature, they become hoarders, and then you're trying to find things and it becomes a hassle.
A lot of people don't believe in safe boxes, or a lot of people don't believe in having a safe. Most banks still have safe boxes. It might cost you $100 a year, it might cost you $65 a year. For me, that's the purpose of them. Everyone should know I have a safe box here. If you need the information for it, share with that person. This is where my will is. This is where my deed, my everything is here. My loan for the vehicle, like my house deed, everything is in that box. If you don't want to pay for it, then just get a safe and keep it at your house.
With the safe box, who have access to it? You give a name, or
The bank will give you a key,
yeah.
and however you choose to share that key and log individual information at the bank, beneficiary, executive, whoever you choose to put name on, they will have access to come and speak on your behalf. Power of attorney, however you choose to. But you need to find this segue, a safe place to put that piece of information. Because if something happened to you today, someone needs to know where this will is. Because if you did a will and you can't find it, what is it?
And it's not safe to also have it in the house because God forbid a fire.
But
or a
if-
They have
thief
the
might
fireproof
get
ones.
in or
But if you
something.
do a safe box, most safe boxes will be waterproof, fireproof, all these proof. And get a safe box that you could drill into the floor.
Yes.
Drill into the floor.
Into your floor of your house.
Oh, I see.
Because if anyone could come into your house and take this right here and leave with it, is it safe? Technically it's not.
Yeah.
And if you have any weapons in the house,
Yeah.
same thing. Put it in a safe, lock it up. Especially if you have kids in the house. But these are all things that's purposeful in why we should have a safe. And if you don't feel safe with a safe, then take it to a bank and have a safe box. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Any questions today? Any questions? I'm trying to keep this as dry as I can.
Thank you, LJ.
Pleasure.
The beauty of what he went through was sharing all of the preparations that we need to make sure just in case something happens, right? We have put together through one of our stewards of this class, her name is Soraya. You guys have met Soraya. She has actually donated one of her documents from work that is called the Personal Financial Inventory Template. It is on the resources tab of the Church Center app. It allows you to organize everything that you have in that fashion in case something happens, right? Your will, your trust, and all that documentation should be gathered, right? But this is an actual template that allows you to leave it behind in case something happens. For instance, if I pass, my wife can look up my personal financial inventory template and she'll be able to find where every single thing is. That way there's no questions about, oh, this account existed, that account existed. She knows it's there because I've documented it for her in case something happened in the event that I pass away. Does that make sense, guys? So this is a great tool for you to plan for the inevitable or the untimely, right?
Yeah.
Soraya speaks about this because her mother-in-law passed away and did this exact same thing in a different fashion, but left it to her and kin, and they didn't have any issues with the siblings on the way that things were dealt with after her passing, and it helped out so much. Okay, death is unexpected a lot of times, right? People are grieving. You need time to process that. Don't leave the responsibility of getting all this together while they're grieving. There's too much emotions that are in play. Do it for them and bless them with your organization so that if something happens, they can really focus on taking care of themselves and let everything else play out the way that you wanted it to. Does that make sense? All right. Thank you so much.
So next steps, let's talk about next steps. What can we leave here today and do? What's just something we can leave today and start doing tomorrow? Something simple.
Make
Make
sure
a will.
it's updated.
Make sure your will's updated. If you have a checking account or a savings account, find someone to make a beneficiary out of. Something that's as simple as I can tell you right now. That's very simple. Because we all have checking accounts, we all have savings account. You might say, no, it's not that big. Put someone there as a beneficiary, just in case.
Mr. James is talking about a beneficiary about 18 months ago at the most. I have a blended family. I'm in a second marriage. I've been married 30 some odd years, that second marriage. And my husband has 3 children, adults. His daughter crumbled, fell in front of the courthouse on the ground from a blood clot. Went up to her brain, beneficiary. I said to the family, she has insurance because I got her a job. Florida Hospital, which is now Advent Health. I work there. I know they give you insurance. I said she has insurance because I got her a job there. Long story short, she did have insurance, and Florida Hospital's policy is when she went to work, she didn't have beneficiary, as he's talking about beneficiary. Florida Hospital policy is if you don't have beneficiary, the spouse is first. She was never married. The children are second. She didn't have a chick or a child. The parents with an S are third. The mom is dead. She only has a father. So everything fell to my husband. So it's important to know, that, make sure you have beneficiary to know what's going on.
Yes.
And that's just one company. If it wasn't for the company, probate.
There you go.
Then he would have to wait at least a year or two, just to sort out. But this situation is a little bit different because there's not many next of kins. So the court would recognize he is the only next of kin. But before the next of kin, what debt does she have? Then he gets the balance. But something as simple as beneficiary. Any of your kids, any loved ones you have, just put them in the accounts. Put their name on something. But don't leave it up to chance. Don't do that. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Pleasure.
I'm doing my will now.
As we speak.
Beneficiaries have to be there, quite
This is the only class that out of the 51 classes I teach, I hate teaching this class. I like teaching because it's informational, but it's emotional.
I know.
I am so thankful for Mr. James